Hello, my name is Raynele Schneider, and I am part of Artists del Norte, a local art club. We meet in Fridley at Banfield Lock Center for the Arts once a month, and we welcome guests the last Tuesday of the month. We meet from 7 to 9, and I probably joined this club 7 or 8 years ago when I started doing art again in my life. And I enjoy it a lot because we have demo artists every month, and it is always changing what we can learn and what we can glean from each other. And we just, actually I was the demo artist yesterday, or 2 days ago, and doing torn paper collage. And then in August we have a lady named Marie Hammond who does watercolors. Then in September we have another lady named Lynn Bauer, and she is from Dragon Spirit Studio. I do not know her. And October 26th, we have Sharon Erickson doing alcohol inks. And we learn a lot about these methods. We often know nothing about what this artist is doing, so we get to totally learn new things and maybe go home and try them, get excited about them. And then we also have 2 shows a year that the members get to be part of. One is in the spring, and it always has a theme lately, and the last one was Artists and the Sea. So you have several months to really plan and think ahead and experiment, and I find it lots of fun to have the theme and work on that. And then in the fall we have the Northern Showcase, which is an open show, which means anybody hearing this message right now or in the area or even out of state could join this show. And we are held at the Blaine Government Center. It's up for a month in November. And applications will actually be coming out at the end of August on 31st on artistsdelnorte.org or our Facebook page for artists. So tell your friends, all your artists. It can be 3-dimensional also. And we have a lot of fun with that. There's a nice reception that happens, and up to 3 pieces can be submitted. So we also have Art at Rice Creek coming up at Manneman Park, which is part of next to Banfield Lock Center for the Arts in Fridley. And that's a fun family Sunday, which includes music, art, crafts, and food, and things for the children to do. So we're part of that. And we have our meetings actually go from March to October. Then we take a bit of a break in the winter. And we have a brunch in January. And anybody can come and visit our art group and see our friendliness and informality, you might say. We have a lot of fun. We laugh a lot. And the rotating art program is also part of our program, which a lot of people are part of, and local businesses can have a spot or have 10 or 12 spots, however many spots they want. We bring paintings. Usually it's just paintings, but different kinds, and they're in their business for 3 months, and then they rotate them out, and then you might go to a different business in a different city. And now we have 9 clients, so we've expanded. And it's a way to help the local businesses have new and fresh art all the time. And so I enjoy being part of that. And there's even some travel that people get to take part of. And there's an Alaskan cruise coming up in August. And there's quite a few people going on that. And they do art, and they also get to see the sights. So we have a lot going on, and anybody's welcome to come as a guest. We encourage you to visit us. And today we have 2 artists that produce a lot of fine art, and one of them is Carla Anderson. And so we're going to be interviewing Carla first, and then Tom Dimmock second. And Carla is a watercolorist and an experimenter. She likes to really experiment with different kinds of paper and methods and subject matter. So, hello, Carla.
Hello, Raynele. Glad to be here.
This is one of your very newest pieces of art. Tell me about it.
I just finished it today.
Talk about fresh.
But I wanted to talk about my process because I am very experimental. I'll get an idea. Usually if I'm falling asleep or waking up, I get my best ideas. And I had this idea of doing really big leaves with some touches of metallic paint in there. And
I can see that.
the first stage looked like this. And I probably shouldn't have been painting after 9 o'clock. You don't want to do that if you can help it. Because then I had this border over here that was, well, it didn't go with the rest of the colors, as you can see.
So you changed it somehow.
Yes.
How did you do that with watercolors?
Oh, that's actually a lot easier than you might think.
Oh.
So then I thought I'd try to get it to blend more by adding some more leaves, and I stenciled out some shapes, which meant I had to lift
cool.
color
Ah.
to do that. And it still didn't look right. So I actually tore off this edge here.
Oh.
If you look at this paint, the finished painting, this red part is not on there at all.
Oh.
And you can do that. You can do anything, really.
Ah, I wouldn't have known
The
that.
possibilities are endless. You'd be surprised at how many things that don't turn out right, and then you chop them up
You can
and
fix them.
you can fix them. Or some people do collage. I'm not adept at collage, but I always find some way to do it.
Well, good. I wondered if you have a certain kind of watercolor paints that you like. Everyone has like a brand or something they seem to like.
I like Daniel Smith is my favorite because they have so many different colors and they're always coming up with new ones.
Are they in tubes or are they?
Tubes.
There's other ways too.
They're in
sometimes,
tubes.
right? Okay.
But I like those the best because of, like I said, the variety.
Okay.
It's always something to experiment with those
Right.
guys.
Right. Do you work upright on an easel at home
No, I
or
work
down? I wonder.
flat on table.
Okay.
I have a long table that I work on
Okay.
with paints on one side and
Mm-hmm.
my drinking water on the other.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And
So when you
I'm-
put the metallic in there, was that paint or was it like some
it's
other?
it's the Daniel Smith
another paint.
metallic
Okay.
paint.
Yeah, that looks really cool.
And you just kind of draw. You have to be careful how you use it because it can get really muddy. So what I do is I let it have it really wet, and then I use a color that kind of matches the color I'm working with. I think I used gold and green and maybe a copper in
Okay.
there.
Wow. So
Possibly
you have to
some
really
blue.
know your colors, what they'll do,
Yeah,
pretty much.
because they behave very differently from the regular watercolors.
Oh, okay. That looks really nice. I
Oh,
like
thank
the
you.
light areas here and then over here, and then kind of brings your eye in this way.
Yeah.
Looks really nice.
That's not what I would consider a prize winner, but it certainly is good enough to put on your wall.
Yes. It would please a lot of people. So, yes. All right. And that is watercolor paper. I know you work on different surfaces besides watercolor paper.
Yeah.
And you told me once there's a paper called UPO,
Yes.
which
well,
seems like, is it plasticky or is
it's
it?
actually a plastic sheet. And
Okay.
It's spelled Y-U-P-O.
Oh, it is. Y-U-P-O. Okay.
yeah.
Y.
And it works best with ink.
Okay.
I used acrylic ink when I was painting on it. You can do it with watercolor. It's very uncontrolled and kind of fun, actually. But once you get to where you want to stop, when it dries, you have to spray it with a fixative
Oh.
or it will rub off the paper.
Oh, because it's of the surface is plastic.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I'd like to see you do that. It would be fun to watch and try, so I've never done it on that paper. So, all right. Well, we probably have another piece of yours that we could look
Yes.
at. And in the meantime, you started watercolor painting, I know, quite a few years ago, maybe 25, 30 years ago, and had certain people that were very influential in your life to teach you and sort of mentor you and influence you.
Yeah, I started with community education.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeannie Ferdinand was teaching.
Mm-hmm. We could switch this one out and see the next one. That'd be good.
Should I keep talking?
Sure, we can.
Okay.
And so these people, you knew nothing about?
Yeah, she was my first instructor, and then after a while, I wasn't getting what I needed in that particular class. So I had to find someone else, and I saw these paintings by Patricia Geishecker at the Banfield Art Center. And it turns out she only lived 1.5 miles from me. So I was over there a lot. I had private lessons from her. She became my mentor.
That's cool that you got to do that and not just go once, but you got to go many times and really learn. And so we have another painting here that looks like, I think it's on watercolor paper.
Yes.
But it looks like you, I don't know if you put salt in there or you sprayed it or you did something interesting. Sand.
That's a sand paint where you wet the paper.
I love that.
You put the sand on, you add the color, and it makes drips and irregularities.
It has all those transparent, mystical almost places to it.
This is one that actually was a failed painting, and I did something to fix it, and that didn't work. So then I did something else, and that didn't work. Finally, as the last result, I thought, I'll put a bird in it because I'd just taken a class on how to paint birds from Karen Knutson, a local artist in the Twin Cities. And turned out really well. I thought, oh, I like that. So anything is possible.
Yes.
Really.
I love your spirit of experimentation and never give upness. That's not really a word, but anyways, that makes you realize, well, if you do something you don't care for or it doesn't quite turn out well, so what? Just keep going and do more.
When I was learning to paint, I made myself finish everything just so I'd learn how to do it.
Yes, I do that too, and then I sometimes I tear them up and use them in something else. So I don't like everything I do.
And we have another painting.
Yes, we have another painting that we could share. And I wondered, how much time do you devote? It may vary during the seasons, whether you're inside or outside or winter. Do you think? How much time do you devote?
Well, I try to get some painting in every day.
Wow, that's cool.
It doesn't always work that way, but I try.
Quite often.
Yeah.
Right. It keeps you kind of current and keeps you fresh, I think.
Yeah.
It's hard if you don't do it for a few weeks or a few months and then you come back to it. It takes, I find, more time to get with it again.
Yeah.
It's almost like you got to retrain your brain
Which
or
can
something.
happen.
Right.
Yeah.
So this one's really cool with all the linear things going like this, but then you've got the curly shells and the round circles, so it flows this way, then it flows that way. And is that, how did you do like washes in there first with sand again, or no sand this time?
No, this is not a sand painting. This is sliced nautilus shells, which my mother got for me in Florida years ago. And then the round shapes you're looking at are sand dollars. I figured out a way to make them using wax paper.
Oh.
It's my own technique. And then the linear, the curving lines that you see in the back there that look like seaweed, that's done with gauze. Oh. Pieces of gauze. You have to shred it.
And it's actually adhered to there?
Yeah, it's very wet technique. You have to use a lot of water when you're using gauze. Oh. It's quite absorbent. Oh. So, and
but you didn't glue gauze on there.
No, you
actually
remove it after it
like
dries.
This, sort of?
Yeah, I just lay it on there and then spray it.
Imagine.
Spray it with water.
Okay, wow.
So it'll stick on there, and then you add the watercolor to it. And same with the shells. You've already got the shells on the paper. Oh. Add watercolor to it, the pigment. And also with the wax paper sand dollars. Wow. All of which are removed after it's completely dry.
I would not have known any of that.
Yeah. And it does these wonderful blossoms all over, and I didn't have to really do anything to it afterwards. I just left it as is.
Like you didn't, at the end, a different day or something, you didn't like add this detail right there at all?
What
With
detail are
the
you
curly,
looking?
sort of the curly.
The shells have that curl in
Oh,
them.
wow,
Yeah.
neat. I dabble around in watercolor myself, but I don't know what I'm doing, so it doesn't end up ever going anywhere past my studio room.
Well, I got lucky on
Very
this
often.
one. I got lucky on this one because it turned out right the first time I did it, so I just left it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need two people for a painting. One to tell you to stop.
Yes, it's true. And getting your composition idea, sometimes that's, to me, one of the most difficult things is figuring out what your plan is and what your design might be and where everything's going to be and the size relationship. And then you go with it, you know, but...
Well, I learned early on that my best paintings were all from my imagination.
yes.
I tried doing from photographs and failed. Nothing turned out right. When I started doing experimental and just letting
That
it
works
go,
for you.
it worked.
Cool. I know you had a lot of neat, some neat paintings in the Artist in the Sea one, too.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you very much for sharing with us. And we can look for some of your paintings in rotating art businesses. You might see them around Blaine or Anoka and a few other places in the cities where we have a rotating art. So if you see Carla Anderson's work.
Well, they're currently at a law office in Stillwater.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Carla.
Oh, you're welcome.